So we have been, of course, covering what's been going on at these reform councils, and it's been very, very clear from what we've been covering. First of all, they've got no clue. They have absolutely no clue what they are doing, first and foremost, which is, again, as we'll be talking about in a moment, both simultaneously a good thing, but also a very bad thing, because then that leads to absolute council paralysis, because they can only, like the council itself can only go for so long running on what the last administration sort of told it to do. Sooner or later, they've got to take new orders or new direction, or say, hey, we're experiencing this. What should we be doing? You haven't given us any policy about any guidance or what to do. So that's one thing. The other thing, of course, we've been covering is the cancelling of meetings. Like most of these reform councils, all their June meetings have been cancelled, or quote, as the Reform Council or Reform UK are saying, they've just been rescheduled, right? To a point, but this I find quite ridiculous, is a lot of these councillors are refusing digital council invites. So, for those of you who don't know what that means, they are saying, okay, there's a council meeting on this day, and here's everything. And if you've ever been invited to like a Google Meet, you'll get the whole thing with the list and the link and everything. That is what they will get put into their calendar. But they are refusing to do that. They want a fully handwritten, like, diary, which in this day and age is ridiculous, where you could just be saying, okay, here's all this digital stuff, and if there's any updates or anything, we can just automatically update it. Anyway, this is bad. This is generally bad, because you might think that Reform not doing anything is good. Right? Oh, they've got no policy, they've got no idea what they're doing, anything like that. Surely that's good. Again, no, it's not. It's leading to paralysis in these reform-led councils, which is going to lead to some very, very bad outcomes, or, your council service providers basically being unable to do anything. I will say this now. What's going to happen next year when it comes budget time? Like, I am very curious what's going to happen next time it's going to come to sorting out council budgets around some of these places. If this is how bad things are, wait until budget season comes around. Oh boy. Oh boy, on that front. That's going to be interesting. So, anyway, before we go jumping into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Of course, there are the links to the Patreon page, the Buy Me Coffee link, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the YouTube membership down below as well. So thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, you can always help by clicking the like and share button as well. So let's crack on then into this, coming from The Independent. Reform-led councils in paralysis, as dozens now of meetings cancelled in the first weeks. So, get rid of that. There we go. So councils, of course, taken over by Reform UK, have now been left in a state of paralysis, as dozens now of key meetings are now even cancelled, and the newly elected councillors fail to show up. This is the other thing that's happening as well. They aren't even turning up. Like, there's a meeting. Where are they? Where's the Reform councils? We can't run a council if they're not here. Not how it works. Again, also bad when they don't turn up. This isn't like Parliament, where if Nigel Farage doesn't turn up, yes, it's a massive waste, of course, of taxpayers' money and absolute, mick take. But in a council where they are not turning up, where they are required to like give and deliver leadership to what like the council should be doing, then it's bad. It's really bad. Anyway, Farage's party, of course, won huge victories back in May's local elections, gaining, of course, control of 9 councils and minority control of a further 3. However, opposition councils have now claimed the organisation and productivities have now been a shambles since the election, with some claiming that reform representatives do not know what they're doing. Across these 12 controlled reform councils, 33 meetings have been cancelled or postponed within the first 9 weeks since the election. How can you just cancel all these meetings? I just don't understand. Additionally, of course, at least 21 reform councillors have now missed their first meetings, despite, of course, the majority of these only having had one meeting to attend in their first month. So imagine that. You become a reform councillor and you're just not even going to attend your first meeting. Anyway, the worst affected are the Kent and Nottinghamshire councils. Reform holds 57 and 39 seats repeatedly. In Kent, 9 out of the 22 meetings, that is 40% of the scheduled, have now been cancelled since the election up to the 4th of July. That comprises just 15% in 2024. So think of this. They have missed so far of this 40% of their meeting. When you compare this to last year, that means that's just 15% of meetings they have missed compared to like a look at the previous year. How are these councils going to operate? How are they going to function? Anyway, these, of course, include legally required meetings such as the Governance and Audit Committee, a crucial part of local government structures, ensuring accountability and transparency of the council's finances. Again, for a party that made like transparency and wanting to like cut waste going on in local councils, you would think they would be at this meeting, but they're not. Other meetings, of course, such as the police and crime panel, were also cancelled, as membership of these committees was, of course, yet to be confirmed. Something opposition councillors say that the reform counterparts are now not ready or prepared for their roles. In Nottinghamshire, 4 of the 10 meetings scheduled had now been cancelled in the first 9 weeks. The thing of that, in Nottinghamshire, 4 of 10 meetings cancelled in the first 9 weeks. These include the Governance and Ethics Committee and, of course, the Overview Committee, which is responsible for scrutinising the operation of the Chief Executive's Department. Opposition councillors in Kent, Rich Lemon, said the cancellations were completely shocking and made him question whether Reform were actually capable of leading the council, saying Reform did better than anyone expected and clearly better than they expected as well. He said, there is a general feeling amongst the opposition councillors that a number of these elected councillors are just not ready or even able to attend committee meetings. And that takes place, of course, during the day. The fact that they've not even named who is sitting on some of these committees suggests they are having trouble actually filling committee places, and that's why they're being cancelled. No one knows what's going on. There's lots of confusion. This is what I'm talking about. You cannot run a council where no one knows what's going on and there's just lots of confusion. You just cannot run a council like this. It's just not how it's done. Kent is, of course, home to Reform UK's first Elon Musk style Department of Government Efficiency unit, which has been set up to look at wasteful spending in councils. The announcement, of course, on Sunday came as a surprise now to many, even councillors. Mr. Lehman said, who claimed that the move was now a barrage of distractions from the paralysis in the council is in. It is understood that Reform UK councillors have now chosen to cancel meetings with the intention of rescheduling them once they are more prepared. It is also understood that as meetings were, of course, scheduled by the previous administration, they are not scheduled to the new Reform Council's timetable. In Nottinghamshire, of course, the opposition Conservative group said the cancellations sparked serious concerns about their leadership and the accountability and the future of their local services. The shambolic start from Reform, said Sam Smith, it's a shambolic start from Reform, said the leader. Scrapping every key meeting in their first month in charge is not only reckless, it is dangerous. It puts public services at risk and shows just how unprepared reform really are. There is no excuse for this. They should be in their offices, speaking to officers and getting to grips with their job. Instead, the car park is empty and the council now is effectively leaderless. This is what happens when you elect people who had no plan and no idea what the job involved. Again, while local councils are, of course, independent bodies responsible for their own decisions, it is, of course, understood that the government expects them now to operate within the law to hold meetings in order now to deliver for residents. Kent County Council said that some meetings, such as planning committees, were scheduled on a, quote, if required basis, and they were cancelled because there were no applications requiring an immediate decision. What? What? So, hold on this. You are just going to scrap a planning committee because nothing required an immediate decision. But what about all the other stuff? Maybe planning decisions that are coming in that do need to be talked about. You see why this becomes a problem? Because all those just pile up, you know? Another spokesperson said, regarding, of course, the changes to the meetings of the calendar, a number of meetings were, of course, squeezed into June due to the election and introduction period, preventing them from being held back in May, as would be the case in an election year. Because there are no time-sensitive issues during these June meetings, consideration now is being given to now deferring the business to relevant July meetings to make best use of member and officer time. That's nonsense. The Independent, of course, contacted Nottinghamshire's new reform leader, Mick Barton, for comment. He didn't respond, but told the local democracy reporters that the comments are, quote, political rhetoric from the opposition. He said, that's absolute nonsense. We've only been here 3 weeks and we're still settling policies. We're having weekly cabinet meetings with officers to find out what we're going to be doing going forward. Well, not according to the opposition. You're not even having those meetings, apparently. Honestly, like, this is so bad. This is so bad. Because we are literally in a case where, because they are doing nothing, which again, some people might presume, oh, well, they're doing nothing, that must be a good thing. No. That is incredibly bad. Incredibly bad. Because they are doing nothing, that means the council that maybe has to make decisions, or planning committees, or any other type of committee that needs councillor input, or, you know, that rubber stamped approval, what are they doing? Madness. But yeah, and once again, they ran, and I want to stress this because this is what they said, they all ran on a platform of they will hit the ground running and that they'll be off. That hasn't been the case. They've got no policy, which, while you're apparently coming up with policy now, what does that even mean and entail? What if they come up with policy that the people of Nottinghamshire don't like? You know, it's, yeah. They see, oh, like, the worst is yet to come. If this is how it's all starting, the worst is yet to come. So, as always, leave me what you think down below as well. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.